Quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers took the field at the 2024 NFL Scouting Combine today, and things got really fun. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Starting with the quarterbacks, mainly because not a lot of them ran drills, so I just want to kind of talk about how they looked at throwing-wise. And obviously, we didn't see Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, or Drake May throw, but Bo Nix looked relatively solid. Penix had some nicely thrown balls. And JJ McCarthy, man, this is where the hype train was supposed to hit the crescendo. He had a few overthrows. All in all, though, it looks pretty solid. Like, the arm talent was on display. Do I feel like I would take him in the top 10? Probably not. I would probably want to ease him in and probably not start him year one. But when it comes to the tools, probably how he did in interviews, which I'm sure was amazing, there's probably going to be a team that'd be willing to take him in the top 10. And we're probably going to hear that name in the top 10 from here until the draft, whether that happens or not. Spencer Rattler ran slow. That was unusual, but kind of is what it is. Michael Pratt was all right. Honestly, he was all right, but like not dip into day 2 all right, more day 3 all right, which Spencer Rattler honestly might be heading towards that like 4th, 5th round area. Might possibly still sneak into my top 100. I had him at 90 going into here, and even if he dips out, he's not gonna dip out much. But talk about Keaton Slovis. Shocker, what a surprise. Came out and ran a 4.55. Holy moly, holy smokes. Good for you, Keaton Slovis. Probably still a UDFA, but I see you. Now let's get to the fun bits. Let's talk about some of these drills. Let's go to the running back position, where Isaac Guerendo, if you hadn't heard of him, then you hadn't been watching the channel, because I've been talking about this guy since the Shrine, that he's built like a freak, and I thought he was going to run really fast. Like, the dude had some really high-end speed. Came in to the Combine at a nice, sexy 6 foot, 221, and then ran a 4.33, and then he jumped out the gym in the explosive drills. Don't have the agility scores yet. Those have still yet to be posted, so we'll see if anyone ran in those. I know Roma Dunze was still trying to get his 3-cone down to like 6'6", but Jalen Wright had a good day as well. Started initially with a 4.44 40, and then he managed to get that under at 4.38 on his second run, so good on him. Showed the explosiveness in the vert and the broad jump, so you like to see that. And then Trey Benson, for me, solidified running back 1. He's been my running back 1 basically through the whole process, going straight from summer evals. He's still running back 1 for me now. Spoiler alert, when I do my rankings in the next few weeks, it's going to be running back 1 there. To me, he's that good. Looked really good today. Ran a 4.39 and did solid enough in the explosive drills. Keelan Robinson, probably more of a special teamer that's got some ability in the passing game. Ran well, good for him. Jaden Sheridan, if you haven't gotten around to Monmouth tape, I haven't. He was expected to run fast. He ran fast. I can't wait to get to his tape. Maybe he ends up being like a late day 3 guy for me. I was happy with Vidal running really well, 4.46. And then Marshawn Lloyd, listen, man, even in the drills, this guy was dropping balls. For me, it's never been about the physical and athletic ability for Marshawn Lloyd. It's always been fumbles, drops, pass protection. I can't trust you. I just can't. Some people are going to have him in his top 5. I'm not going to be one of those guys. I can't get behind him because of what I've seen on the field, unfortunately. And then Tyrone Tracy, another guy that I was pumping up after the Hula Bowl. I was excited to see him at the Shrine. Did well at the Shrine. Came out, ran exceptionally well. Looked really good in the receiving drills. I don't know. He was a receiver for 5 years at Iowa. Well, 4 years at Iowa. Goes to Purdue. Played a year of receiver at Purdue and then moved to running back in his final year. And he's going to be a guy in my top 10 at the running back position. Ran a 4.48. Ended up having 40 inches in the vert and 124 inches in the broad. Love to see it. Michael Wiley didn't partake in any of the receiving drills because I guess he had a broken thumb or some sort of thumb injury, but he wanted to come out here and run and ran well. If you're looking for a receiving back, there at the back end of the first round, back end of the draft, so 6th, 7th round, he could be an option there. Listen, I know you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and you're going to want a nice hefty watch list of players during this college football season. Well, go ahead, check out my draft guide. You can purchase it for only $30 by Venmoing or PayPaling me. Links in the description. It's a one-time payment and you get it for this whole draft cycle and forever and always. Technically, it's a Google spreadsheet. So send me your email when you send the payment. I'll get you hooked up. You will see my current prospect rankings and big board, my full evals. And guess what? It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So it's a great purchase and it's a great way to support the channel. Ray Davis looked very smooth on the on-field drills. Ran a 4.52. That's a good number at the running back position. George Halani didn't really question the athletic ability, the physical toughness. It's just been injuries with him there at Boise State. Blake Corum, though, 4.53 was huge. I really liked that. Good for you, Blake Corum. Probably solidified a top 5 running back in this class. I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and take a look, take a gander. Really thought Jawhar, oh my gosh, words. Jordan, the other Louisville running back, was going to run much faster than 4.56. So, like, seeing that, man, probably puts him at UDFA. Fortunately, kind of is what it is. Bucky Irvin, for me, 4.55, quality number. Knew he wasn't going to do well in the explosive drills. Being a smaller back at 5'9", 192. Kind of is what it is, but then he probably gets passed up by a few of these other guys that just have better size and are just better athletically. The Amani Bailey, man, was a guy that I thought had tools. I really do, and I still do. But 4.61 was not a number I wanted to see. I thought he was going to be in the 4.5s. Ended up not running well. Probably going to look more like a late day 3 back than an early to mid day 3 back. Schrader out of Missouri, unfortunately. I think it was either the hamstring or it was some sort of injury. He ended up not being able to take part in the on-field drills, but did nothing special. But if you look at his tape athletically, he wasn't really anything that special. Good explosiveness, though. And a guy you might be willing to take a shot on in like the 5th, 6th, 7th round. Knowing that he can make an impact in your rotation and play special teams. Then we got some of the bigger backs here at the back end. Dylan Johnson not running fast, wasn't surprising at 4.68. I was a little surprised by Audric Estime running a 4.71. He looks a lot faster on tape, and the explosive numbers were actually pretty darn good for him. Having 38 inches in the vert, 125 inches in the broad. So not gonna lie, I'll probably take this with a grain of salt. He's still going to be probably a top 5 back for me, or at least hovering around that. Braylon Allen only did the explosive drills, and well, I mean, Estime ended up out-testing him, but also Allen was like 15 pounds heavier. So if you're looking for a bruiser, it's really going to come down to Estime and Allen. Those are going to be the 2 names you want to look at. Let's go ahead. Let's move to the wide receiver position, because golly, a show was put on. Xavier Worthy reminding everybody, hey, I'm in this draft. Comes out and runs a 4.21. Granted, coming in at 5'11", 165, but he ran a 4.21. I hopped on Hail Mary Sports because he was live streaming. I hopped on his live stream, and I was like, hey, he runs sub 4.2. I could see him going to the first round. He almost got to that number, almost. But definitely a guy that we need to be talking more about in the top 50, because that's rare speed. It's rare speed. He jumped out of the gym in the explosive drills. He had a 41-inch vert. He had 131 in the broad. Like, you see it on tape. You see him. He can go out and contest the catch point He can. I feel like during this process, he got forgotten about, by me included. Like, I think he was a guy that was just on the outskirts of my top 50. And he's going right back there. He's probably going to be in that like 35 to 45 range for me after I kind of move around some things. Brian Thomas had a wonderful day, coming in at 209 and ran a 4.33. This guy's running back 4. He's a lot closer to Roma Odunze than a lot of people are willing to talk about. Probably should be talked about in that, like, after Roma Odunze's off the board by maybe like pick 9 or so, he should be talked about in that next group. At like Jaguars at 17 should really be considering this guy. Could go somewhere in that top 20 vicinity. I'm kind of the mind that we might see the receiver position fall after Odunze comes off the board because it's just such a good wide receiver class. It might get pushed back a little bit, but again, ran really well. Good for him. Speaking of which, Roma Odunze, he ends up running a 4.55. Had a nice vert at 39 inches. He ticked the boxes. That's what you wanted to see from him. A.D. Mitchell, another guy, though, he's going to be in that tier with Brian Thomas. I think I'm still going to have Brian Thomas ahead of him. But A.D. Mitchell coming in at 6'2", 205, so a little shorter, but not enough for me to really care about. Came in heavier, love to see that, and ran a 4.3, 4.40. The vert numbers were great. The broad jump numbers were great. Tez Walker needed this bad. He needed a great performance at the combine to really get his stock and just his draft projection back into orbit. And I think he did that. Coming in at 6'2", 193, ran a 4.36, leaped out with a 40.5-inch vert, 134 inches in the broad. Good day for him, sir. And we're talking about some of the slot options here. Jacob Cowan, running a 4.38, which is great. We knew he had that speed. And then Roman Wilson, Lad McConkey running 4.39s. You like to see him under that 4.4 number, so good on them. To me, Lad McConkey is going to be talked about at the back end of that first round. Anthony Gold putting some speed on tape. You love to see that. You already kind of knew it, though, based on his Oregon State tape. He's coming in bringing in some receiving experience. And then Xavier Leggett. Dude, 4.39. I did not expect him to run sub 4.4. Comes out here and does it. I know that he's a guy that he builds up that speed and he could really get going. He's got some of the highest GPS numbers from this past season. I just didn't think 40 yards were enough to really get him going. Man, I was wrong. He ends up running exceptionally well. Another guy that we're going to have to talk about potentially moving up boards, had a solid day 2 at the Senior Bowl. But I mean, this is such a good wide receiver class. He might get lost in the shuffle and get put into that day 2 area. Troy Franklin runs a 4.41. Good, great number. Really good number. But he did it at 176. Not ideal. He didn't really explode out of the 40. His 10-yard split was 161, so not a great number. Actually, the only one that's kind of in the lower percentile of that among the receiving group. But I don't know, man. He's probably gotten passed by guys like Xavier Leggett. Maybe I think like Ricky Pearsall probably passed him up as well, if not already. So I don't know, man. Franklin, do we talk? Might be a back end of the second round, third round. That's probably where you think about him at, man. But I mean, I could see him going as early as mid-second round. Like, again, this is a stacked wide receiver class. It's really going to be tough when we're ranking these guys. A lot of people are going to go to these numbers when having to figure out how to separate them, because a lot of us probably have similar grades on a lot of these guys. Juwan Jackson had an unusual 40. His first 40 was like 4.54, and I was like, what the hell, man? I thought he was way faster than that. And then, oh, 4.42. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Bub Means, man. Guy with size. Coming in, 6'1", 212, runs a 4.43. You love to see that. Maybe he gets talking to that midday 3 conversation. A guy that had a very solid season this past year for Pittsburgh. He was averaging over 17 yards per target. So if you're looking for a bigger vertical type of receiver, he could be your guy if you're looking for a late round target. Tulu Griffin, I was hoping he was going to run sub 4.4. Thought he was going to be in the 4.3s. By no means is 4.3 a bad number, but we kind of expected him to be a little bit faster, and he wasn't. Kind of is what it is. Florno, I love him coming out and looking fast. I really do. Ends up running a 4.40. And then on top of that, he also just jumped out the gym, so to speak. 42.5-inch vert. Had 128 in the broad. Very good numbers. Definitely in that draftable range in the 6th, 7th round. Love to see it from a guy from southeast Missouri. Jermaine Burden, we knew he was going to run fast. Not surprising. Really, the question with him is some of the off the field stuff. Luke McCaffrey, solid day, ends up beating his brother's time there at 4.46. I think his brother ran a 4.48. So that was fun. Good to see. Love to see it. Malik Washington, oh my goodness, had a good day with the vert. 42.5 inches in the vert. You love to see that. Runs a 4.47. Solid number. Very good. Brendan Rice. Yo, I was like, I won't be surprised if he runs a sub 4.6. I didn't expect a 4.5 flat. Yo, hello, Braden Rice. Maybe he, admittedly, he's a guy that I haven't been too high on. I had a 4th round grade on him. He was currently sitting at wide receiver 18, 19 for me. Maybe gets a little bit of a bump from that. Good performance by him. Johnny Wilson coming in at 231. I still think he's going to be a tight end in the NFL, but he put up great numbers. 4.5, 240. You look at the vert, 37 inches, 128. That's among the top of some of the tight ends in this class that tested out this past week. So you like to see that. So if you are looking, like for me personally, I think I would take him as a tight end convert. I don't think that changes my mind on him. So I do think he ends up being a better in line player. He's may have moved up ahead of a few guys like Dallin Holker, his teammate Jaheim Bell. I think he's probably moved ahead of those guys in my opinion. If he wasn't already for other people, just speaking for my own board. Jalen Polk, I knew he wasn't going to run fast, but I'm very happy with the 4.52 number. He also tested pretty darn well. He had 129 inches in the broad. Love to see it. I think he's one of the better complementary number 2s in this class. Keon Colbin, a guy that the 4.61 number, it doesn't look pretty, but I mean, let's be honest, his on the field drills were faster than a guy like Troy Franklin, and Keon Coleman's going to stay ahead of Troy Franklin when it's all said and done, at least for me. I think in the gauntlet drill, he was averaging 5 miles per hour faster than Franklin. And I mean, you really want to look for speed in that drill. Jalen Coker, do want to give a shout out to the cat out of Holy Cross. I knew he was I didn't think he was fast on tape. Ends up running a 4.57. Didn't surprise me. What did surprise me though was 42.5 inches in the vert. Very good number. And then he pairs that up with 128 inches in the broad. So you love to see that. Let's see if we got any cone times for these guys. Yes, we do. And look at that parasol. Man, I knew he was going to be fast. You got Luke McCaffrey, 4.7. Love to see it. Think he's still probably a early day 3 guy. Isaiah Williams, good. You want to see him be quick, coming back, slapping back, so to speak, after a very not great 40 and then running a 4.63. Still maybe kind of feels like a priority UDFA, though at this point. Anaya Smith, on a side note, he got flagged for some sort of injury, and it looks like he's gonna have surgery for it after the combine. He got flagged for that, so just want to mention it. Let's take a look at who ran these shuttle drills real quick while we're here. Romadunze, fast shuttle. I like that. I like what I see there. Ooh, I wonder if we got the running backs. Nope, nothing for the... Oh, I won't be surprised if none of the running backs... I won't be surprised if none of the running backs did any of this. I guess it kind of is what it is. But hey, if you want to look for some if you're looking for free agent content, I got free agent content. Check out the videos down below. But we'll be back tomorrow with the offensive line, and then we're gonna wrap this sucker in a pretty bow with my top risers and top fallers from the combine. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.